Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. We are back with another week of Daily Palantir, episode 31 today on Monday, December 18th, 2023. Thank you all for joining me here today. Hope you had a great weekend. We've got a lot to talk about, and primarily what we've got to talk about has to do with what you saw in the thumbnail, which is boot camps. The boot camp strategy is working. It's working at a level that it seems like is going to be the strategy going into the future for Palantir. And it's working to the point where not only customers are giving qualitative responses, which we're going to talk about today. A user gave a very long post on Reddit basically explaining what they learned in bootcamp, so we're going to discuss that. But from a quantitative level, I've got some new numbers to update you all about how the bootcamp strategies are going, how many bootcamps they've actually done, and what the trajectory could be like for that going into 2024. So today's episode is primarily going to be about boot camps. We're going to look a little bit at some stock action and a couple of other little headlines, but it's time to get into the boots. Okay, before we get into boot camps, price action today. Palantir, 1778, ended on the day down about 2%, 1.98% in the regular market hours, and then 0.34% in the after hours. Market had a relatively interesting day. Bitcoin back up about 4% at 42,364. S&P 500 was at 473 at one point, ending the day at 471.75 after hours. So market generally had a pretty okay day. Palantir again fell, and you know the reason I think it fell down from about 1830, 1840 in the pre-markets is because people are taking their profits. At the end of the day, people are taking their profits. They have made a lot of money on Palantir. We're going to see institutions and retail investors say, you know what, I want to take my money before the end of the year. I don't know what's going to happen in 2024. And that's why we're not seeing Palantir really participate in the broader rally that we've seen after the Federal Reserve decided that they are going to likely cut interest rates 3 times next year, because Palantir is already up a lot year to date, and so we're seeing some profit taking. So nothing too crazy on the stock action, but the stock ended at 1778 for today. All right, let's get into these booty camps. I didn't mean to say booty camps, but I ended up saying booty camps, and I'm not editing this out, so we're going to talk about these booty camps. Booty camps. I like this now. This might become a thing. 634 organizations posted by Mike Longterm, great Twitter account on Palantir. 634 organizations have gone through boot camps. 414 boot camps have been done. 634 organizations have been in the boot camps. 1,000 people have participated in these booty camps. And 27 industries, I'm assuming ranging from healthcare, energy, a wide variety of manufacturing industries have been there with Palantir. So this is someone who posted on LinkedIn. Tonight was lucky enough to attend Palantir's Technologies Christmas event. A fireside chat told a story from seeing an oil rig with millions of data points to delivering transformed outcomes for patients in the UK. We heard Bruno and Chelsea, Westminster Hospital, NHS Foundation Trust, Palantir journey to LLM power tools, which are redesigning clinical workflows. And then they talk about a ton of different examples around how Palantir is being productive with these boot camps. So, I mean, Shyam Sankar 2 weeks ago on CNBC said they've done 325 organizations or 325 boot camps. That number is now 414. So in the matter of a couple of weeks, it seems like they scaled up the boot camps. 634 organizations, 1,000 people participated. Why this is so special, we discussed on previous episodes that Snowflake is now copying the bootcamp strategy. So they, want to go out there and be like, hey, come join our LLM bootcamp. By the way, Snowflake acquired a company. We're going to be talking about that tomorrow. I want to get deeper into it, but Snowflake acquired another company, and TLDR, if you're acquiring companies, maybe you're not really innovating that much inside the company itself. But nonetheless, we're seeing companies copy this bootcamp approach, and it's innovated by Palantir. It's a very 0-to-1 strategy, in my opinion, because Alex Karp basically gave a middle finger to everyone who said you need a massive sales force to sell enterprise software. He was like, no, we can sell software by giving away for free and by getting people to just play with the software and use it on their own data, and we're going to sell a crap ton of software. And it seems like that's what's happening. Now, Q4 numbers are going to be incredibly important to see if any of that customer count increase, which I'm expecting to see at least above 9%. Quarter over quarter growth for customer count has been kind of stagnant at 8%, even though it's not declining anymore like it was a couple quarters ago. Even if it doesn't materialize in the revenue. So if the customer count goes up, revenue doesn't materialize, that's okay. I do think that the boot camps are working, and Q4 is going to show us for sure in the numbers how much it's working. But this is, I got to give them credit. They came up with this 3 months ago, and they're scaling like crazy. And I did not expect them to come up with this type of an approach to get their market out there and go to market, but they have been able to do that. Having said that, this is what I posted over the weekend that was really interesting. A user attended Palantir's AIP bootcamp and was blown away. This was the user. I'll put this tweet in the description so you guys can read the entire thing that they said, and I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a summary of it, but there's a couple of quotes in this thing that I wanted to look at. So one of the quotes is right here, all the way at the bottom. Let's go to this one. So they said this is just scratching the surface. This is what I learned in a day of training and a full day of hands-on experience with AIP. I'm excited to dig further into it and learn more about this powerful capability. What most thrills me is that none of this required any coding whatsoever, except vectorizing the data, which is just like making sure the data was embedded in a way so that the vector model could actually create the LLM and give it the context it needs to then spit out the right results. So the bar of entry between subject matter experts and data science is significantly lowered. That's sort of the promise of what AI can do. The type safety in AIP logic is really useful because then you can utilize prompts to output responses from interactions with a large language model in a desired format and in an automated way integrate the outputs from the AI intuition directly into applications and visualizations that can also be built on Foundry without code. This was a very long response from everyone talking about boot camps. And what's really, really interesting is that this is one of the first posts I've seen. It's almost like 10 paragraphs of someone going really in depth to explain why they found value in the bootcamp strategy. So what were some of the key takeaways from this? I just wrote it up in my summary. Number one, they talked about a comprehensive understanding of the ontology. So they emphasized the importance of Foundry as an ontology, a framework that obviously defines and interconnects various data objects like aircraft and events in business terms. And they said that they had a deeper understanding of how data objects are represented and interrelated, and that's crucial for practical applications, which is the whole point of AIP and these boot camps. It's like practically how do you use this in the workforce? And if you can't get a practical use case out of it, then it's irrelevant at the end of the day. They then talked about Foundry's integration with large language models like GPT-4, and how AIP offers versatile and user-friendly AI capabilities, which includes AIP Assist, a chatbot for guiding users through the Foundry functionality. So like actually telling you what to do in order to make the bot more effective and more productive for your organization. Then they talked about how there's a lot of low code, no code functionality. And this is one of the parts I was just reading from that quote, which is that the gap between a subject matter expert, someone who knows what the hell they're talking about in marketing, and then a data scientist that's actually putting that all together to be able to make sense of it, fundamentally goes lower. So they said this was exemplified by the ease of converting PDF data into analyzable formats and performing complex data manipulations with simple natural language prompts, demonstrating Foundry's capacity to streamline data processing tasks. Now, I know a lot of people might be thinking, okay, well, that's just like chatting with a PDF. Yes, that might be chatting with a PDF. The question becomes two things. Number one, is it actually chatting with the PDF or is it hallucinating with the PDF? And that's where you need to have this concept of KLLMs, you need to have AIP Assist, you need to have all this stuff integrated with the actual technology that AIP has built to be able to make sure chat with a PDF is a real chat with a PDF. The second thing is are you chatting with a PDF securely? Right? Because you can't take your company's PDF and just throw it into chatwithapdf.com, which I think is actually a website, and then start chatting with it because it's your company's data. So you have to be very careful about that stuff. They then talked about real world applications and rapid prototyping. So they talked about the bootcamp showcasing a real world use case involving FOIA document analysis, highlighting Foundry's ability to quickly prototype solutions. This demonstrated how Foundry can be used to train models for specific tasks like data redaction, emphasizing the platform's practicality and adaptability. And then finally, they just talked about how it was really user-friendly and allowed them to build applications without coding, make it super accessible for a wide range of users. I think at the end of the day, this is very bullish. Having customers actually say why they like using these boot camps, why they like going through these boot camps, why they like learning about all the different things that are happening throughout the boot camps, to me, means that Palantir is going to catch some booty. At the end of the day, I think we all have to ask ourselves as shareholders, do we believe there's an enterprise sales go-to-market strategy that is differentiated? And I think the answer to that is yes, which is that I have seen 0 enterprise sales companies actually do this bootcamp model in the way that Palantir is doing it. And so if it is a differentiated strategy and a lot of companies can't compete with it, the final question becomes, okay, if Palantir can scale this mother effer, right? If we can every month, they've done 400 boot camps year to date. If that turns into 100 a month, that's 1,200 by the end of next year. That's 3x if that's 200 a month. And we know that they're not worried about dollars. They're worried more about talent being able to do it. It's just the sky's the limit for how far they can take the bootcamp strategy and how many clients they can convert. Now, I know Ticker Symbol You put out a video. I'll probably respond to that tomorrow. He's another popular YouTuber, and he's saying Palantir is doomed, and Microsoft and Amazon, they're going to eat their lunch. My basic response to that video, a lot of people have been asking me, I don't think they can eat their lunch if Palantir is winning in the bootcamp approach. Meaning, yes, their distribution is always going to be more effective and better than Palantir. They're trillion-dollar companies. Palantir is fighting up against Goliath, right? Like it's a tough thing to do. But these bootcamps are not something that Microsoft and Amazon are doing at scale, and they're not as targeted with these bootcamps at scale. Microsoft and Amazon want to sell compute. That is their main goal. Do they want to sell other things to the enterprise? Of course. But compute is their main goal. Palantir is not trying to sell compute. Palantir is trying to sell AIP and Foundry. And I think the sophistication by which they have these boot camps actually give customers working data sets and give them the potential to be able to utilize them in a meaningful way, along with attacking other verticals and industries that are built for something like Foundry, like manufacturing, like healthcare, that is going to lead to potentially a lot more deals. Now, look, the numbers have to show it. I'm bullish on this. I know a lot of people are bullish on this. The numbers look bullish. The numbers have to show it. But if the numbers show it and enterprise AI spend is continuing to go up every single year for the next 10 years, and this is not stopping, AI is not a joke. Large language models are the new form of compute. This is a very big market. And I was listening to Carp over the weekend basically talk about how the TAM is essentially infinite. It's hard to measure the TAM. People think they can measure the TAM. There is no measuring of the TAM because every single organization in the world, in order to be competitive in the 21st century, is going to need to adopt some type of enterprise AI strategy. Not all of that's going to Microsoft. Not all of that's going to Amazon. Not all that's going to Google. It's going to go to the companies that are zeroed in on being able to deliver this. And I think one of those companies is going to be Palantir. All right, that's it for me. Thank you guys so much for listening and joining. Tomorrow, we're going to be talking about Snowflake and their new acquisition and what that means for Palantir and how that's kind of working out. Please subscribe to dailypalantir.com/subscribe. Thank you to everyone who has subscribed. I'm loving doing this newsletter every single day. If you haven't subscribed, check it out. And you'll be able to get a email newsletter every single day around 10, 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with the day's recap of Palantir's news. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate it. I will see you guys in the next one.